also
let me
have
zoom in so you
household
can see all
waste.
this
Let me
garbage.
zoom in. Can you see all the
Household
damage?
waste is
Household
anything
waste is
generated
anything
by people in
generated
their
by
homes.
people in their
Okay?
homes.
In our
In
house,
our
because
house,
I have,
because I have
yes, I'm married, and Jen and I have
married, and
5
Jen
children.
have 5
Only
children.
4 are at
Only
home right
4
now.
at home
One's at
right now,
university.
one at
But
university.
we generate
We
quite a bit of
generate quite a bit of
household waste.
household waste.
We try not to. We try to produce as little household waste as possible. But household waste is also bad for the environment if it's disposed of improperly. It would also just be called garbage or trash, but the formal term would be household waste. Here's some effects that humans have on the environment. These are some of the things. I'm just going to talk a little bit about how pollution and emissions affect the environment around us. One of the things that it does is it creates endangered species, or it creates a situation where certain animals and sometimes plants are in danger of becoming extinct. And I'll talk about extinct in a sec. This is the bobolink. It's a type of bird in Ontario, Canada. And it is an endangered species. There are not a lot of bobolinks left. We have been destroying its natural habitat. We have been creating cities and farms, and we have been destroying where the bobolink, I picked the bobolink because, one, it's an endangered species, and it also starts with the word bobolink. Anyways, so it's not extinct. There are still bobolink birds in Ontario, but it's on the endangered species list because there's a danger that it might become extinct. This is the eastern elk. The eastern elk is actually extinct in North America. It was a type of animal that was common, but because humans came and destroyed the environment where these elk live, they no longer exist. We probably also hunted them a long time ago, and I'm sure that had an enormous effect as well. But when you have an endangered species, it means it's in danger of going extinct. It might go extinct. And if an animal or plant is extinct, it just doesn't exist on our planet anymore. It's kind of sad. When I was researching this lesson, I was sad to see how many species were extinct in Canada. It was a lot. I think it was in the hundreds, a few hundred species, like 200 or 300. Don't quote me on that. Again, I'm not a scientist, but we have an enormous effect on the environment, and sometimes it has serious effects where animals go extinct. The other thing climate change and global warming and being destructive in the world in terms of the environment does is it creates natural disasters. So there's more drought, there's more flooding, there's more extreme weather. There's more things happening in the world because we're not taking care of the planet. And we would say that those are natural disasters. Things like tsunamis and hurricanes and cyclones and tornadoes. And I mentioned flooding. Volcanoes less so. I'm not sure we're causing volcanoes, but that would be another type of natural disaster. So extreme weather. Extreme weather would mean if you normally get, a storm that's really bad, but now you're starting to get storms that are even worse. We would call that extreme weather. If you have high winds of 80 to 90 kilometers an hour, and maybe when you have a storm now, the winds are 100 to 110 kilometers an hour, that would be extreme weather. We are definitely experiencing extreme weather here in Canada. We had more summer days over 30 degrees Celsius last year than we have had in many, many decades, I think. So extreme heat can also be extreme weather. We have something in English called the carbon footprint. The carbon footprint is a newer term in the last 5 or 10 years, at least for me. And it basically is how much effect you personally are having on the environment. So for me to live for a year requires a certain amount of gas, a certain amount of food, a certain amount of clothing. All of those things create greenhouse gases when they're being manufactured or consumed. Sorry, I'm using a lot of big words here. Your carbon footprint simply refers to how much greenhouse gases you personally have created created in order to live. If you fly on a private jet every week, you create a lot of greenhouse gas, and your carbon footprint is enormous. If you live in a small apartment and you eat really healthy food and you ride a bike everywhere and don't drive a car, your carbon footprint is very, very tiny. So we definitely want to think about what our carbon footprint is as we go through our daily life. When we talk about things that are good for the environment, we say that they are earth-friendly or they're environmentally friendly. We do certain things because they're good for the environment. As much as we just talked about many things that are bad for the environment, there are more and more things every year that humans are doing that are good for the environment. One of those is composting. So we do not put our food scraps in the garbage. We have a separate pail and we call it our compost pail. And that's where you put things like the tops of your carrots. When you get your vegetables ready, and if there's some leaves that are brown that you can't eat, you throw it in the compost. You can in some places also throw in your like moldy cheese or milk that's gone sour. We actually have our compost picked up by a truck. On garbage day, a truck comes once a week and it picks up our garbage, our compost, and our paper recycling, our metal recycling, and our plastic recycling, and our paper recycling. It's all separated. But I'll tell you a little secret. Because I live on a farm, all of our kitchen scraps from fruits and vegetables we give to our chickens. Our chickens like to eat them. So we compost everything else, but we don't compost that. So in Canada, in Ontario, we have a composting system. All of your kitchen scraps go to a central location and they are put in a big pile, and then they just decay and decompose, and when it's all done, you have really good fertilizer. We also use more and more things that are biodegradable. Let me say that one more time. When something is biodegradable, it means that it's made of all natural substances. And if you throw it on the ground, over time it will just decay and disappear. I've used the word decay a lot. Decay is when something goes from being brand new and it slowly disappears. Bacteria and insects and different things eat it. And then eventually it's just gone. So we have things now that are biodegradable. This spoon, fork, and knife are made out of wood. Bamboo, some of our biodegradable stuff is made out of bamboo. But let me say that word one more time, biodegradable. Simply means that it will decay when left to the environment, and it's made of all natural materials. In Canada and in many other places in the world, we have recycling programs. Recycling is when you take something that humans have made and then you use it again to make new things. In Canada, we recycle our metal, we recycle our paper, we recycle our plastic, and we're not very good at it though. Okay, we're getting better, but we still have a lot to do to get to a. We're not perfect. In fact, we sometimes send our recycling to other countries to have them recycle it. But I think we're trying to become more self-sustained when it comes to recycling. So metal, paper, plastic. In fact, if you watch my videos, you'll notice I have an old vehicle in the middle of my yard. I actually had it taken away to get recycled last week. So it was no longer drivable, but they will recycle the vehicle. They will take off the tires, they will take all the metal, they will basically take the car apart and recycle all of the reusable things in it. But recycling, I think, around the world, we can all continue working on getting better at it, including my country. We need to get a little bit better at it. At school, some students still throw their recyclable stuff in the garbage bottles. We often say this. One of the best things to do for the environment is the 3 R's, to reduce, reuse, and recycle. So when you reduce, you just use less of something. So if I wanted to be helpful for the environment, I could just reduce the amount of gas that I use. Okay, I could just drive less, and I would be reducing the amount of gas. Another thing I could do is I could keep my house cooler in the winter and warmer in the summer so that I use less electricity. Reuse simply means if you have something that can be fixed, fix it instead of buying a new one and reuse that item. I reuse my shopping bags. So I have bags that I reuse all the time. And then recycle, we just talked about. When you recycle, it means you take the plastic and you melt it and you make new plastic, or you take the metal and you melt the metal down and you create new metal. So reduce, reuse, recycle. You'll see this, the three arrows on many things if you recycle. And it looks like this. So the recycling symbol, all of our